Last but not least, 1440, in partnership with The Motley Fool. Good morning! It's Thursday, June 25th, and we're covering the resurgence of the coronavirus. Yawn. A bombshell legal settlement, and a facial recognition failure. Need to know. Daily COVID-19 cases hit new record. Well, I mean, the number is not really going to reduce, so...
Everything's a record, idiots. We've never counted this before. Every new number is a record.
Yeah.
Every single day is a record day.
New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut will require a 14-day quarantine for travelers from Florida, Texas, Arizona, and other regions where coronavirus infection rates are rising. The decision came as the U.S. reported more than 38,600 cases yesterday, the highest since the panic began, breaking the previous record set in April when daily cases peaked at 38,000. While testing has grown, the percentage of tests returning as positive has risen since early July. Okay, so at least they admit that testing has increased. Unlike April, when roughly 1/3 of new cases were concentrated in New York, infections are spread across the country. The average daily death toll... So congratulations, everybody. We are well on our way to herd immunity. Yay! The average daily death toll, which hit 2,700 in April, has dropped significantly, currently at about 600 per day. Still, officials in many states have issued warnings. In Texas, where hospitalizations have doubled in 2 weeks, Governor Greg Abbott urged residents to stay home. The U.S. has reported 2.38 million total cases, with 121,979 deaths, allegedly, as of this morning. Some public health officials have faced death threats over preventative measures, such as requiring face masks in public. Bayer pays billions. Pharmaceutical and life sciences giant Bayer has agreed to pay more than $10 billion to settle almost 100,000 lawsuits, claiming its weed killer Roundup increases cancer risk. I didn't know Roundup was owned by Bayer. At the center of the claims is the chemical glyphosate, which at least one study has linked to significantly higher rates of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Isn't it non-Hodgkin's lymphoma? A number of groups maintain its safety when used according to the label, though an independent agency labeled glyphosate a probable carcinogen in 2015. I mean, don't inhale the chemicals that you're spraying. Is that so hard?
I think it was more about they didn't have a fucking warning label on it. Or that they knew about it and they covered it up.
However, its status has not been fully determined. See a scientific review here. The settlement follows 3 lawsuits that ruled in favor of the plaintiffs. Without determining whether the weed killer caused cancer, they found Monsanto, acquired by Bayer just weeks before the first judgment, failed to adequately warn consumers or investigate health concerns.
Yeah, that's the problem. Poor old Bayer, they bought that shit and then they got dead.
Poor Bayer. Facial misrecognition. A Michigan man was arrested after being misidentified as a burglary suspect by facial recognition software, according to a complaint filed yesterday. The first known instance of a wrongful arrest in the U.S. arising from such platforms. Robert Julian Borchak Williams, a black man, I was wondering, was taken into custody.
Were you? Really? That, coming across your head?
Facial recognition software is infamously racist, isn't it?
Yeah. Infamously.
Was taken into custody in January after software matched his driver's license image to footage from a robbery at a luxury goods store in October 2018. Williams spent 1 day in jail before officers determined the match was false. So, when was he arrested?
Your face.
In January. Why is this news now? The robbery was in 2018. He was arrested in January and only spent 1 day in jail. So why is this news now? Because he filed a complaint yesterday For 1 day in jail? I guess he thought he'd just take advantage of what's going on right now, huh? The news comes amid increasing calls to curtail the emerging AI-based technology. At least one federal study showed existing platforms may misidentify black and Asian faces at rates 10 to 100 times that of white faces. I guess white faces are more interesting? Probably not. I know, probably not. While an early study of Amazon's platform revealed it misidentified dark-skinned women as men at least 30% of the time. Oh my. Separately, a backlash is growing over an algorithm claiming to predict criminality based solely on facial features. Why would you do that? I'm just saying, you couldn't expect that it was going to be accepted. You couldn't expect that it was going to go well. Why would you even put your time and your energy into that? The Cable Killer? From The Motley Fool. Notice how everyone seems to be cutting cable lately in favor of streaming services like Netflix, Disney+, HBO, and Hulu? The shift is happening without a doubt, and things could look pretty bleak for cable. But who do you pick to be the biggest winner? With so many programs and offerings, it seems daunting to predict who's coming out on top in the Netflix versus all battle royale. Our friends at the Motley Fool have been scouring the investment world for the stock most likely to capitalize on this shift, and shockingly, both of the Motley Fool's co-founders, David and Tom, independently arrived at the same company. This has only happened 25 times over the entire history of the Motley Fool Stock Advisor, and when it does, the average return has been an astounding 931%. The company they're featuring today could stand to grow immensely within the multi-trillion-dollar media and entertainment industry, sitting nicely in the middle of the advertising market. And the best part is most investors have never even heard of it. Check out the report now. Please support our sponsors. In the know, sports, entertainment, and culture. New York City Marathon, the world's largest marathon originally scheduled for November 1st, is canceled due to the coronavirus.
What is?
New York City Marathon.
Oh, yeah.
Angela Madsen, U.S. medal-winning Paralympian, dies at 60 while attempting to row solo across the Pacific Ocean. Oh my.
They really canceled the NYPD marathon? New York marathon, rather?
Yeah, why?
Because they don't have any police officers. They're going to be a murder central before too long.
Did you hear this?
What?
A 60-year-old U.S. medal-winning Paralympian was attempting to row solo across the Pacific Ocean and died.
So, Paralympian 60?
Yeah.
So, was he on a rowboat?
It was a she.
Was she on a rowboat?
Well, she was attempting to row solo across the Pacific Ocean, so...
At 60?
Yes.
Without the use of her legs?
I don't think that's what Paralympian means.
Yeah, it does.
That's paraplegic.
Oh, it's... I think it's
It's a Y, Paralympian with a Y. Paralympics.
Paralympics. Or the Paralyzed Olympics.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Told you.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I know what it is.
Okay.
So
no
I'm
legs.
shocked. So the Pacific
60
Ocean.
years old. Pacific Ocean, the largest
In
ocean.
typhoon
The
season.
largest ocean in the world. I don't know. I wonder how long it took before she died. Maybe she's been out there for a while.
Nah, they probably had some cameras involved. Probably not died unrelated, you know.
Oh, I bet it was COVID.
She got the COVID. she had her legs dangling in the water in her kayak.
Mm-hmm.
Australia kayak. She got sharks. She didn't notice that
Oh,
somebody
no.
was eating her legs off.
Oh, stop. That's terrible.
She's all rowing along, all of a sudden her guts fall out.
Oh, my goodness.
That's awful.
That is awful.
I don't want to see that
You're
movie.
terrible.
Yeah. I feel for her. I mean, it was probably hot. She was old. Shit happens.
Anyway,
60's the new 40.
Gone with the Wind returns to HBO Max with disclaimer on its historical context. It was historical context. Why do you need a disclaimer? Are people going to watch Gone with the Wind and think, oh my god, people are so racist these days?
Yes.
Whatever. CrossFit founder Greg Glassman sells the fitness brand following backlash over Glassman's tweets about George Floyd. Oh, you mean his perfectly reasonable tweets? His true tweets?
Oops.
CrossFit founder.
Oh, yeah.
He had to sell CrossFit, the brand, following the backlash over his tweets.
Well, his thing was actually like, he made one bad joke.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember it definitely was not worthy of so much vitriol.
It was like Floyd 19. Hashtag Floyd 19.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Science and technology. New studies suggest the coronavirus can attack insulin-producing cells, triggering the onset of diabetes in some patients. Now the COVID is giving people diabetes.
Giving them diabetes?
Triggering the onset of diabetes in some patients. I'm guessing they have to be, like, probably pre-diabetic.
They gotta be fat as fuck. Pre-diabetic. Just ate a Twinkie and a snack cake.
Astronomers discover a mysterious object in the mass gap between 2.5 and 5 times the size of the Sun. Object is either the heaviest neutron star or the lightest black hole ever found.
Oh, now we're weighing black holes?
Mysterious object.
Where's the scale we put this black hole on?
I don't know. It would suck up the scale.
Would it? Just a small black hole would suck up the entire universe. I learned that watching Don Lemon when they were discussing whether or not the Malaysian air flights were taken by black holes.
Oh.
Yes. CNN. Hard news. Yep.
Detection of neutrinos confirms nuclear fusion reaction inside the Sun involving carbon and nitrogen atoms. Reaction, which accounts for 1% of the Sun's power, had been hypothesized but never observed. Why are they creeping on the Sun? Leave the Sun alone.
Who's creeping?
The scientists.
Why are they creeping?
They're creeping on the Sun. They're trying to observe how the Sun works.
Yeah, I told you. We already sent a man to the moon. We're going to send a man to the sun.
Stop.
Yeah.
Business and markets. U.S. stock markets sink. Oh no. S&P 500 down 2.6%, Dow down 2.7%, NASDAQ down 2.2%, as International Monetary Fund projects global output will shrink 4.9% this year, worse than its April predictions of a 3% drop. Okay, so there was a prediction that things are going to go bad, and the prediction fulfilled itself. Stock markets are fucking weird. And cowardly. Fiat Chrysler receives $7 billion crisis loan backed by Italian government, one of the largest crisis loans to an automaker in Europe. Supplement retailer GNC files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy to close up to 1,200 stores. Politics and world affairs. 3 suspects indicted in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, with charges including felony murder.
Stupid. They overcharged again.
The trio, all white, are accused of confronting and shooting the 25-year-old black male in February. Wisconsin activates National Guard to protect state property during protests. That's good. Good, Wisconsin.
They had to do that because the gay senator got
Attacked.
fucked up.
Federal Appeals Court panel orders lower court to dismiss charges against Michael Flynn. Decision may still be heard by full D.C. Circuit Court. Attorney General William Barr to testify to House Judiciary Committee July 28th during General Oversight hearing. Democrats block Republican-led police reform bill, calling for negotiation on amendments before the procedural vote. And I'm hoping that the Republicans maybe held back on some things that they were willing to give up, just in preparation for the negotiation. Because I remember their bill didn't say anything about qualified immunity, so maybe they could give a little bit on that.
They don't need to give on the qualified immunity. The only reason it didn't pass is because they didn't completely repeal qualified immunity. The Democrats want you to be able to sue the police department again for whatever. If I give you first aid and you get an infection, I can now be sued if I'm a police officer. If I give you CPR and save your life, but I cracked your sternum while I did it, that's pain and suffering that I can be sued for.
But I'm not saying the Republicans should completely do away with it. I'm just saying...
That's the only way anything will get passed.
Stupid
is
Democrats.
If they completely do away with it, because Democrats run the House.
Tucson, Arizona police chief offers resignation after man dies in custody from cardiac arrest. He had a heart attack while in jail.
Yep.
What the fuck are they supposed to do about that? Maybe he shouldn't have gotten himself arrested.
Well, you know that, like, a lot of these people didn't die from the actual result of the cop doing the thing. I think George Floyd would be the only one. I mean, they even have this conspiracy theories and documentaries on Sandra Bland. And Sandra Bland, all on video, is arrested for a crime. She is thrown in jail. All on video. She then kills herself. On video. And there's some great conspiracy that she was murdered by the cops. Because you can make somebody just hang themselves with a sheet.
That's part of police training, don't you know? That's
For
why we
real.
need training reform.
We need reform training. We got too many people hanging themselves.
In Depth, The Curse of Genius, from 1843. Society, led by parents with unrealistically high hopes for their offspring, places a premium on exceptional intelligence. But if genius is so widely sought after, why do so many brilliant children experience such awful childhoods? I'd rather have a smart person with an awful childhood than a whole bunch of stupid people. So sick of the stupid people. The Liberation of RNA, from WNYC/Radiolab podcast. A humorous and thought-provoking conversation with Dr. Brandon Ogbunu, the Ivy League professor of ecology and evolutionary biology, accidentally discovered he was scientifically linked to James Watson, an eminent scientist notorious for championing a racist theory of genetics. Okay. Excellent historical returns, no jargon. The Motley Fool was founded by brothers Tom and David Gardner out of their garage in Alexandria, Virginia. Since then, they've grown remarkably, thanks in part to some life-changing stock recommendations. Some highlights. Netflix in 2004, 25,141% returns. Amazon in 2002, 17,625% returns. Tom's average recommendation, 207% returns. David's average recommendation, 686% returns. David's are smarter than Tom's.
Hells yeah!
Today they've arrived independently at the same recommendation, which very rarely happens. Read the report now. Please support our sponsors.
Read the report now.
Etc. What analysts think are the biggest post-pandemic risks. Post-panic risks. What to look for in a face mask according to science. No gaps. Not made of cloth. Perhaps containing a filter. Or just don't wear one. NASA names DC headquarters after Hidden Figure Mary Jackson. Okay. From our partners, are you looking for a meaningful domain name for your store? A .store domain name brands your site and tells your customers you actually sell something. Click here to know more and use code STORE499 at checkout to get an 80% discount. Mapping each continent's pole of inaccessibility. Rest in peace, Segway. We hardly knew ye. So the Segways are going away. What it's like to get married in the age of the coronavirus. Inside a training mission with the Eternal B-52 bomber. Beethoven probably wasn't black, but here are some unsung composers who were. Okay. I get it. Unsung composers. They compose music. But were they actually good composers is the question. Clickbait. This year's must-have product lets you bring your own urinal. Okay. History book. Battle of Little Bighorn, 1876. Korean War begins, 1950. Celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain born, 1956. Rest in peace actress and model Farrah Fawcett, 2009. Michael Jackson dies, 2009. Farrah Fawcett and Michael Jackson died on the same day.
They didn't want to live without each other.
Skills can be taught. Character you either have or you don't have. Anthony Bourdain. I disagree. Character can be taught. And practiced.
You can teach the things that can help.
You either have or you don't have
Tribute
the willingness to practice a good character traits. I don't know. I guess. That is all for today. Thank you and goodbye.